Shem Angel 68.HABUIAH. Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. This is Taliesin McKnight, and today we're looking at Shem Angel 68.HABUIAH. This is the Shem Angel of gardens and nature, the countryside, anything to do with nature and gardens and fertility, and also freedom. So this Shem Angel governs 5 until 10 degrees of Pisces in our way of doing it, which is the classical way. Just for information's sake, people need to know that there is a different way to associate the Shem Angels with the quinaries, the 72 quinaries or points of 5 degrees of the zodiac. In the Golden Hermetic Order, the Golden Dawn, they used a different scheme in which Shem Angel 1, Vehuya, would begin in Leo. Whereas the way that we do it throughout these videos, the way that it's talked about in Science of the Kabbalah, the way that seems to be throughout the earlier tradition, in these videos we begin Shem Angel 1 in Aries. So I just want to point out that difference. But I think either way is valid. So Shem Angel 68.HABUIAH. This angel governs 5 until 10 degrees of Pisces, and it is associated with nature, fertility, gardens, anything to do with the earth and the trees and nature. And this is also a Shem Angel of freedom. So, according to the Science of the Kabbalah of Lazare Lenain, where we get the offices here, the Science of the Kabbalah, as I say throughout my videos, is a late text from the 19th century. In our tradition, the 19th century or 1800s is pretty late, but that's where we're getting the offices. I just want to point out that this was a 19th century edition. But according to the Science of the Kabbalah of Lazare Lenain, this Shem Angel HABUIAH is associated with agriculture and fertility. Those born under this influence, here it's talking about those born under this angel, will love the countryside, hunting, gardens, and agriculture. So clearly the Shem Angel in the office is associated with agriculture, gardens, fertility, things like that. So right now, pretty soon it's about to be spring. We have less than a month. Now is a perfect time to plan your garden, to obtain seeds. So those that work with the Shem Angels in this way, of working through the quinaries of the zodiac as the sun moves through them, as we see in the divine Kabbalah, those that work with the Shem Angels in this way, it is a perfect time right now to work with gardens. So clearly this angel is associated with agriculture, fertility, the countryside, hunting, gardens, so anything to do with trees and nature. So I think it's a good idea, if people are going to work with this Shem Angel, to go outside, go visit a garden, go connect with plants if you're going to work with this angel. This brings Shem Angel magic out of the temple or the circle of operations of your workings. It's bringing it out in your daily life. So through the contemplative approach, through the repetition of angel name, divine attribute, and psalm verse, through the 72 repetitions as a contemplative approach. Also with this Shem Angel, I highly recommend that people working with it go connect with nature, take a walk in the woods. If you live in a very large city, perhaps visit a park while you're doing a working with this angel. It's just highly recommended because, again, this brings Shem Angel magic out of the temple. This is an angel associated with gardens and nature. So it makes sense that if this is the office, then by working from the other direction, by working with the things of the office, helps us to attune with the spirit. So it's good to attune with a spirit or angel or deity or whatever you're working with outside the temple as well. The divine attribute, the attributes of the Shem angels, the attributes of the 72 Shem angels, anywhere you look up a Shem angel, if you look up an encyclopedia of each Shem angel or anywhere, you'll see the divine attribute listed. The attributes, I think a lot of people tend to skim over them and like, yeah, this is the divine attribute. But the divine attribute is there for a reason. The divine attributes show what aspect of God or the divine shines through each angel. So the divine attribute tell us something about the energies and the essence of the angel. So the divine attributes are very important. Not to ever be dogmatic with these. We need to be open, and this is a constant spirit contact. Through your interaction with the angel, you'll discover what it really is for you. But these are part of the tradition. The divine attribute is God, the giver of freedom. God, the giver of freedom. What is freedom? We often use this word in our everyday speech, and we don't really think about what it means. Freedom is absence of subjection or imprisonment. It is the absence of being subjugated by someone else or enslaved. It is not being imprisoned. It is not being bound. It is the absence of hindrance and restraint. So when we talk about the word freedom or liberation, what does that mean? What is the opposite of freedom and liberation? Whenever you feel trapped in a situation, you feel trapped in a job or a relationship or a place, anytime that you feel trapped, you're unable to have movement, your movement is hindered. That is the lack of freedom. So freedom or liberation means not being hindered or restrained or subjugated or enslaved or imprisoned. Okay, it is breaking bonds and being free. And it's interesting that this is a Shem angel of nature and the divine attribute. So the aspect of God embodied in the angel, according to the classical tradition, is God the liberator, God who frees us from our bonds. And it's interesting that if you look at the Latin, now, the divine attributes, which you'll see anywhere that you look, we know where the divine attributes come from, at least when it comes to written source material. The earliest record of these 72 divine attributes is found in Athanasius Kircher. His book, published in 1652 or 1654, Oedipus Egyptiacus. Athanasius Kircher wrote Oedipus Egyptiacus, or Egyptian Oedipus. So Athanasius Kircher. The text is still in Latin. I provide a PDF in my post. But Athanasius Kircher's Oedipus Egyptiacus, published in 1652 or 1654, so from the 17th century, it lists the divine attribute. And you see these divine attributes pretty much copied wholesale all the way later in the 19th century with Lazare Lenain. But Athanasius Kircher, his Latin, so God the liberator, God the giver of freedom, what does the Latin say? It says, Deus liberalissimus dator. Dator means giver. Liberalissimus. Now, liberalis in Latin means freedom, or free. But liberalissimus, the issimus, is like, it's called a superlative in Latin. Issimus means the utmost of something. Okay? You see this in some modern Latin languages, even in Spanish and in Italian. You see the similar thing. Ismo. Isimus means the utmost. So liberalis means freedom. Liberalissimus means like the freest or the most free or the utmost freedom. So really, if we translate the Latin of the divine attribute properly, Deus liberalissimus dator, it doesn't mean just God the giver of freedom. It means God the giver of the utmost freedom. This is complete freedom. God who gives us complete freedom, utmost freedom, liberation from all our bonds. So right here, and I want people to understand, we all have our own opinions, but these Shem angels are very powerful. A lot of people find that Shem angel magic is extremely effective. Shem angel magic is extremely effective and powerful. Many people refer to it as, I mean, it's like a miracle how life turns around working with these angels. This is not a game. This is not just a superstition, at least not in my opinion. These are very powerful beings. So what you have here are 2 points of power. If we're doing magic, we should be seeking some type of power. We are connecting to higher forces in order to channel down change. That's what we're doing. We have 2 very powerful points of power here. So if you're a magician or you're practicing magic, from now on you have these 2 things in your toolkit with this angel. Freedom, liberation from being bound and restricted, and also nature. Anything to do with gardens. And if you think of a plant, okay, growth, the plant grows outward. It's not bound. And also think of plants breaking through concrete and stone. Just something to think about. So these are the 2 things we see with the angel for purpose. Any kind of general liberation and freedom, and also anything to do with agriculture and nature. So we see this with the angel. So if you want to be liberated from something, hi Monty, how are you doing? It's great to see you here. If you're seeking liberation or you feel trapped in a situation, Habuiah is here to help you. And if you're planning to plant a garden, or you want to know what seeds to have, or help with planting your garden, or you want to bless the seeds for your garden, or you want to learn the mysteries found in the woods and in nature through trees and stones and things like that, and feathers and birds. If you want to learn more the signs of nature, which is the ancient book of magic, nature, we learn to speak the language of the trees and the ocean and the wind. You find this throughout ancient lore. So we have freedom, the utmost freedom, and we have fertility and nature. Once again, Lazare Lenain, late in the tradition in the 19th century, says the Shem angel governs agriculture and fertility. Those born under this angel's influence will love the countryside, hunting, gardens, and agriculture. The divine attribute is Deus liberalissimus dator, God the giver of freedom, or more properly, God the giver of ultimate or utmost freedom. And the psalm verse, which is found throughout the tradition, the psalm verse goes all the way back to, so first Agrippa, in 1509, 1510, he wrote the 3 books of occult philosophy, which passed around in manuscript form, and of course he added to them over the books over the years. Book 1 was published in 1531, and all 3 books together in 1533. So Agrippa is one of our 16th century sources for Shem angel magic. All he really says is he lists the name and it associates them with, says that they're associated with the queneries of the zodiac. Johann Reuchlin in 1517 published De Arte Kabbalistica, on the art of the Kabbalah. This was published in 1517, so that is our second 16th century source for Shem angel magic. And it gives the psalm verse. The psalm verse is given also a century later in Athanasius Kircher's Oedipus Egyptiacus. The psalm verse continues to be given in the Divine Kabbalah by Dr. Rudd, who used the psalm verse to summon the 72 angels, and it's also found in Lazare Lenain's Les Sciences Kabbalistiques. Throughout the tradition, the psalm verse has always been associated with the angels. And by the way, if you look at the Hebrew of each psalm verse, you'll see the letters associated with the angel name next to a tetragram, or Yud He Vav He. Normally, not always, for the most part, if you look at the Hebrew of the verse of the angel, you'll see 3 letters associated with the angel name, somewhere around a Yud He Vav He, or tetragrammaton in the Hebrew of the psalm verse. So, what is the psalm associated with this angel? It is Psalm, in the Masoretic text, it is Psalm 106, verse 1. O give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good. His mercy endureth forever. O give thanks unto the divine. Give thanks to the divine presence, the source of all being. You know, I would say however you conceive of the divine. Shem angel magic is experiential, not dogmatic. We're here to have a direct experience, not to come up with theories and have dogma. So I would say whatever the divine, the source of all being, whatever that means to you, that is what we're connecting with. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, or the divine presence, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. So, this idea of the divine presence and that goodness being poured out from us, God, the giver of freedom, growth and agriculture, these are the things associated with Habuiah. By the way, the first letter of the Shem angel name is not the letter He, like an H in English. It is the letter Chet. So, the proper pronunciation of the angel name, the first letter is the letter Chet. So, instead of Habuiah, it should be pronounced Habuiah. It's a H. It's a strong H, a guttural H, like further back in the throat, like, like l'chaim is like, salut or cheers. When you drink l'chaim, chaim is life in Hebrew. So the Ch is the letter Chet. So if you look up the letter Chet, it's the 8th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, you'll see the proper pronunciation is Habuiah, Habuiah. And if you have trouble doing that, you can just pronounce it like the letter H, Habuiah. Now, Johann Reuchlin in 1517, he goes into this. Oftentimes in ceremonial magic, we get overly focused upon the proper pronunciation of names. And names and sigils are important, but Johann Reuchlin talks about this directly. It's in the Shem angel lore. It's in the written lore all the way back to the 16th century, that we don't have to worry so much about the names because the angels hear us. This is what Reuchlin directly says. So everyone come to their own opinion, but he says that the angels hear us when we call out to them. In De Arte Kabbalistica, published in 1517 by Johann Reuchlin, it is placed in the form of a dialogue, kind of like a Socratic dialogue without the questioning. Moranus, who is, I believe that's there's a dialogue with the rabbi, and they say, well, we don't know how to pronounce the names, they're mysterious. And he says that they hear you, that the calling out the names, they bring our minds to the angels, they help us to reflect upon the mystery. So right here, Shem Angel 68, Habuiah. It governs 5 until 10 degrees of Pisces. It's associated with agriculture, fertility, the country, gardens, and also freedom, liberation. The divine attribute is God, the giver of utmost freedom or liberation. And once again, the Psalm verse in the Masoretic text is Psalm verse 106, verse 1. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. So that is Shem Angel 68, Habuya. Thank you very much, everyone. And I do have an announcement. Sadly, Facebook has changed its live feature. I'm going to have to find a new platform for my lives, unfortunately. Facebook has announced that after 30 days, all lives will be automatically deleted. So Facebook has changed its rules or whatever. After 30 days, all new lives are deleted. And I don't want to have to re-upload my videos. I mean, think of the pain of that. I do a Facebook Live. After 30 days, it's gone. And then I have to upload it. So you see it published again on your feed. So I'm going to have to find a new platform, unfortunately. I prefer Facebook. I love Facebook. It's what I'm used to. It's what I want to use. But unfortunately, I don't want all my lives deleted after 30 days. So because of this really stupid rule, I'm going to have to do my lives on YouTube. Here's the problem. The problem is YouTube tries to hold on to the video for a couple of days before I can download it. So I'm going to have to figure something out. I thought about streaming on Instagram, but we'll figure it out. I may have to start doing my lives on YouTube, and then after a couple of days put it on Facebook. I don't know. I feel like, we'll figure it out. Hi, Sarah. How are you doing? Thank you so much for popping in. I appreciate that. Let me see here. Hey, Monty. Just going through the comments. So, yeah, unfortunately, because of this new rule, nothing to do with the Shem Angel, because of this new rule, I'm going to have to start live streaming from YouTube, perhaps. And then there might be a slight delay, and then I'll upload that to Facebook. So if you're not subscribed to my YouTube, if you want to catch me live, go to my YouTube channel. Just look up Taliesin McKnight on YouTube, and you'll find my channel. So that's where I'll start doing my lives after this video. So starting the next video, it'll probably be on YouTube Live. So TikTok, hell no. I ain't never been with that TikTok stuff. Just kidding. All right, y'all. We got to keep it serious for the Shem Angel. All right, so Shem Angel 68, Habuya. We're almost finished with the Shem Angel series. And I think what I need to start doing, because I've been thinking about the upcoming year, I'm concluding the Shem Angel series, is... And it's really interesting, because I started about a year and a half... about a year and a half ago. I started in September. I worked all the way through the Shem Angels. I worked with each one. And then here we are in February of... It's been like a year and a half, almost. I worked through all the Shem Angels. And over the last year... So I worked with them for about 6 months before doing these, each one, and then I started these videos. So I've cycled through, all the Shem Angels. And then also over the last year, I've made a video on each and every angel. Every angel has been talked about up to Shem Angel 68. So there's just a few more left, and I'll be done with 68 out of 72. There's a video on each and every angel. So that's in my playlist. So that's awesome. And in my future videos, I think for the upcoming year, I should talk more about like simple witchcraft. Things like candle magic or different types of spells, jar magic, or, how to how to get rid of a curse or things like that, but using some different methods that I haven't covered before. I think I want to get more into talking about the mechanics of witchcraft again. You know, that's what I used to make videos about. That's what all my earlier material was about. So I think that we might get more into the mechanics once again of, you know, working witchcraft. Because that's what my early channel was about. So it's been awesome working through the Shem angels and talking about spirit evocation and things like that. I think I want to get more into like some simple witchcraft. And really, I like to combine the two. I like to do like witchery combined with spirit work. You know, everyone's got their own personal philosophy of magic. I feel like when you bring spirits in, if you're careful, it's a lot more effective. Because now this is just my opinion of magic, but it kind of goes back to Agrippa's 3-world model and his 3 books of occult philosophy. We have the elemental realm. You have the powers inherent in stones and plants, okay, and bones and hair. You have these elemental qualities, and that could be powerful in itself. And then you have astrological, and then beyond that you have the spiritual dimension. So working with spirits, I think it's good to combine the layers, you know. Not all magic is astrological, but even then I just really like to do spirit magic. But anyways, I think that I'm going to do more videos on witchcraft and stuff. Nicholas says next is the 72 Goetia. Okay, no balls. Hail. And then Nicholas said, hail, glad you're better. Thank you. Well, that's something that I'm going to want to get more experience with, something like that, before I talk about it. Because I don't believe in going into anything half-cocked. I believe in trying to really understand a subject and to really work with it in detail before I talk about something. So I really haven't worked a whole lot with that. But it's definitely something that I've been thinking about quite a bit. And yeah. All right, y'all. So that's it for today. We're going to wrap it up. Taliesin McKnight here. My next videos, I'll probably be doing the lives on YouTube and then uploading to Facebook because of the policy changes. But that is Shem Angel 68. Habuiah. Thank you, everyone, for joining me, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day. I'll see y'all in the next video, y'all. Thank you.